Hi, everybody. So this conversation came up the other day. I can't see when people join unless they say hi in the comments. So when you pop on, say hi. Tell me what you're working on. It's Monday. I'm going to try and remember to say this later, but there will not be a Monday motivation next week because I will be out of town and there's a time difference and I don't know where I'm going to be in the middle of the afternoon next week. Hi, Bev. Oh, there we go. Hi, Josie. Now we got some people on. We'll give this just a couple minutes for a few more people to join. Hi, Holly. Bouncing between two different fingerless knit patterns, fingerless knit patterns, I imagine. Shawlography and butterfly shawl. Hi, Ashley, Elaine, Bonnie. Hi, Mom. Hi, Cindy. Now everybody's saying hi. Jackie, Sarah, Tammy. Awesome. I love it. Mom, you might recognize my hat. Edie from Alpena. Hi. Lisa, still working on Puget Sound. Awesome. A couple things I want to mention before I get going. If you can, if you're watching this on a replay, put in the comments that you're watching it on a replay. If you're watching live, say hi. I don't know you're here unless you put it in the comments. So say hi, tell me what you're working on. Hi, Debbie. Terry's working on shawlography. Sherry. Hi, Mary. Beth figured out the baubles. Awesome. I hope it looks good. Beth is working on one of the shawls from the Marie Green shawls and wraps in 2 weeks or less. And it has a bobble bind off, bobble bind off, which I've never done. I've done a picot bind off. I've done all kinds of other bind offs, but I've never done a bobble bind off. So Beth was working on that. That's kind of fun. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Joyce. Hi, Mary Kay. Melissa, shawlography is the bane of my existence. Hi, Julie. Only 8 more repeats of the shawlography edge. I have a lot more than that. Okay. So the other thing is if you're a part of any knit groups, whether they're Michigan groups or not, I do appreciate it if you share the video either live or after the fact to groups. Helps me reach more people, meet new people, and just spread the yarny love. Sarah, I'm missing the message right there. Oh, okay, absolutely. Hi, Malcolm, you're not working on it. You're working on supporting your wife. That's a good thing. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to Monday Motivation. Today's Monday, November 1st. Happy November. It seems like it today. The skies are gray, just kind of dreary, cold. It felt like fall for the first time when I went out this morning with the dog and it was like 30 some degrees. Lisa working on socks. Edie working on a sweater. Mercina working on shawlography. Hi, Julie. Hi, Mondo. I hope you're in the background hanging out too. I need all the support from all the significant others. Mondo's out there, Malcolm's out there. It's gonna be awesome. Sometimes my dad watches. So, oh, Bonnie. Bonnie says it's sunny and warm in Charlotte. I'm sure it is. I don't know what I'm doing living in Michigan, but I have a yarn store. So I'm surrounded by warm things at least. So my name's Kristen. I'm the owner of the Little Yarn Shop located in downtown Saginaw, Michigan, inside the SBRC marketplace. Edie said it snowed in Alpena today. Oh, I am not ready for that. Barbara knitting Christmas stockings. Linda working. Lots of people are working on the shawlography. Awesome. I love to hear it. So if you haven't joined me before, Monday Motivation is live on Facebook every Monday at 7 p.m. except not next Monday. Next Monday, I will be out of town. The shop will still be open as usual. So Wednesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The shop will still be open. Karen's going to shop sit for me for a few days. Deb is always here on Saturdays. But I will be in a different time zone, and I'm not sure what I will be doing in the middle of the afternoon next Monday. So I am not going to promise you guys that I will be on here. Hopefully the week after next, I'll have lots of goodies to share. And so I'm headed out to California. If you know of any good yarn shops or really any good places that you think I need to see, we'll be between San Jose and Glen Ellen. I have no idea what else is in that area. I've only been to California once, and that was 19 years ago. So we're celebrating, my husband and I are celebrating our 20th wedding anniversary out there with some family. It's going to be great. Chandra's working on clue 3 of shawlography. Josie, 2-color cardigan, baby cardigan. Awesome. So let's talk about knits. What am I wearing? I am wearing a Palm Rocks hat. Look at how cute this thing is. We got started talking about quick gift ideas for kids and adults. So this fun little thing comes in a little kit like this. Look at that, with the pom-pom. The beads are already in the yarn, pre-strung, so you don't have to fight with that. Look at, they're hiding down in there, all over the place. The pattern's on the inside of the label. It's just a basic knit hat. However, it's done essentially inside out. So what you end up seeing is the reverse stockinette side and the ribbed brim. When you're knitting it, you just push all the beads to the inside and then flip it inside out. And you get all of those cute little beads. They're just kind of randomly placed. I did have a couple people work on this, and I forgot to mention to them that I would recommend not putting beads in the ribbing. You can just keep sliding them. They slide really easily. I say this like I made it. I didn't. My mom made this. So mom, correct me if I'm wrong. And then it comes with a little pom-pom to put on there. It's just a great little project. And clearly there's enough yarn in there to make an adult size, but you can make a kid size too. 50 grams of yarn for pom-pom, size 7 needles to make a little hat. So these run $9. I do have some in the shop, and they are a discontinued item, so I know I can't get any more of them. So I will go over colors that I have. If you're interested, they're $9. How cute is that? For a little, even if you want to knit for people whose kids you're not really you're not really close to, you don't really know things they like or don't like, hats are always a good idea. So I've got about 5 of each color. I have everything pushed around here. I have a total of 6 different combinations. Oh, there you go. Melissa posted a link to the pattern. The digital one is free on Ravelry. Malcolm, is it newbie friendly? I would say so. You need to know how to cast on, knit, purl, and there will be some decreases once you get to the top. That would be the only tricky thing about it. But anybody around you that knows how to knit could help with that. So I've got the white. There are 4 different colors yarn that this comes in: white, black, pink, and blue. And then they each have different colored pom-poms. So I've got the white with the coral, or white with, this price tag stuck to this one. Hang on one moment. White with this neon yellow green. Look at how cool those are. So as usual, if this is something you want, go ahead and put in the comments the color that you want, the quantity if you want more than one. These would be great little just grab and go gifts. even for like, I know a lot of people do hats for preemies and the NICU and newborns, but it would, I, I think it would be kind of a cool thing to do hats for the kids in the peds ICU too. I don't know if they can have them or not, but it would be fun. So, like I said, I have about 5 of each. They're $9. So I've got white with the coral, white with the fluorescent yellow. Got 2 different blacks, black with the bright orange. And some of these, you know, pom-poms need to be fussed around with a little bit. And black with the blue. Look at that. I love that contrast. They both are really cool. This one looks a little bit Halloween-y. I'm about a week late on that. And then I've got a blue with blue and a pink with pink. Pink with pink, blue with blue. Very bright. It's not quite as bright as it looks. I'm trying to figure out the whole ring light thing, but clearly still I don't have quite the right lighting going on, but I'm working on it. Okay, so like I said, if there are any of those that you are interested in, I have around 5 of each, plus or minus a couple. So put in the comments what you'd like and let us know if you want to pick it up in the shop or have us ship it out to you. Speaking of picking up things in the shop. So a lot of times after I do my Monday motivations and really throughout the week, sometimes I have people putting things in what we call yarn jail. If you don't know, Karen loves to talk to everybody about yarn jail. Essentially, we've offered to hold skeins for people if there's a project that you're working on. You want to start a sweater and it takes 6 skeins, but it's not quite in your budget to purchase all 6 skeins at once. We have been willing to hold a couple skeins aside as long as it's a project you're actively working on. As we get closer to the end of the year, I try to clear that out. It really helps with year-end inventory if I don't have a whole bunch of stuff tucked away and forget to inventory it, or it just is a little bit confusing. So we try to clear it by the end of the year. So if you have things that are in yarn jail that you know about, please get with me or with Karen and make sure there are things you still want. I will be reaching out to a few of you also. It's possible we have things in yarn jail you forgot about. So be on the lookout for that. So that's what I'm wearing. What did I finish? I finished my little, what's it called? Buttons cardigan number 606. And in looking at their schematic, it is closer to a 12 to 24 month, probably closer to a 24 month, but look at how stinking cute this is. Don't you just love it? It's so, look at how cool it is that the 2 sides are so different, the 2 fronts. It's top down, seamless. I mentioned last week the unique construction where you can do the sleeves either flat or in the round and you work them as you go. It has buttonholes on both sides on the same row. So you can decide which side you want your buttons on and you just sew it over the buttonhole. But then you know that they line up. This yarn is called Knit Call. It's by Adria Phil, which is distributed through Plymouth Yarns. They come in little 50-gram balls. This took about 200 grams for this. Yeah, I'm going to call it a 24-month. It says for the schematics, a 2-year size is 22 inches. The finished chest measurement of, oh, well, maybe not. Finished chest measurement for a 24-month is 27 inches. This is around 23 or 24, so maybe it is a 12-month. I need somebody to bring a little person in to try it on, but I just thought it was really cute. A quick knit, it took me 2 weeks, I think, to get that done. It's so sweet. That's what I finished. I am working on my shawlography. And of course, I was in the middle of a row when I got called. I got to do a breathing test today to make sure I didn't have any long lasting effects from when I had COVID a year ago, almost exactly a year ago. It was a year ago, well, Thanksgiving. So let me quick get to the end of my row. But I had to go sit at the hospital and wait for this pulmonary function test. So I was working on this. And of course, they called me. They could not wait until I was done with my row before they called me back there. Rude, I know. There we go. So I am on the border / bind off of my shawlography. Hold it this way. Look at how beautiful this is looking. I'm just in love with how vibrant it is. Look at all those colors. I cannot wait to block it. He does go through in his, so this is unacceptable. Yes, it's unacceptable. He does go through in his video toward the end, this last video, how to block it. And he suggests that you don't necessarily have to aggressively block it, but look at this cool edging, this border. So it's stripes, and you keep alternating through the colors. And the bonus versus last year when we had like, what was it, 490 or was it 940? I feel like it couldn't have been 940. That was a lot. Last year, it was a lot of stitches to bind off as an I-cord bind off. This year, you're binding it off as you go. So each time I do a 2-row section on the stripe, I'm binding it off. So I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I have 31. I'm not very close. I'm not even halfway. I have 31 more stripes to do. But, oh, Leslie said it was 950, Chandra 940. Okay, you guys. So it was as many as it felt like at the time. So last year's was 900 and some stitches, depending on how many chevrons you did. I-cord bind off 1 stitch at a time all the way around. This one is a lot more fun because you're adding length to it as you go. I mean, really, you could look at it like it's an applied border with that many rows, but I'm not looking at it that way. I'm looking at it like I'm adding a section and binding off at the same time. So he starts with this cute little corner piece, and then all the stripes just keep alternating. I followed his recommendation of going kind of light to dark with a pop. So my blue is the pop. But I'm very happy with it. Laura, thank you. Laura said I'm so inspiring. I am really, really happy with this. I was a little bit unsure for a while, but the more I look at it overall from a distance, I love it. So I can't wait. We need to, if you're local and you're willing, when you get yours done, I would love it if you stopped in or message me with a photo of your finished shawlography shawl. I would love to have everybody here at once with all of our shawls. I think that would be really, really cool. And I know they're going to be finished at different times. So maybe we'll do it like 6 months from now. Or maybe we could do it the beginning of next October as kind of a kickoff. We could have everybody here with their 2021 shawls. It's such an adventure. You never know what you're going to get into. So I'm working on that. And while I was waiting for clues to come out and I had finished my baby sweater, I started working on my Stillwater. This is the cardigan by Marie Green. This was Melissa, yeah, about that. Marie Green is the designer that hosts her 4-day sweater knit along every July. This year was her 5th year of doing it. Her first year, she designed the Stillwater. So my pattern's a little bit well loved, and Melissa did post a link to the Ravelry page, but so you can see it up close. Do you see that? It's got this cool little detail on there on the front. It's designed to be open front. I am using this gorgeous purple yarn from Earth. It is their harvest worsted. All of their harvest yarns are naturally dyed. This is dyed with blueberries. I am on the ribbing at the bottom. What's kind of neat and different, I wasn't sure if I was going to like it or not, but I do, is that this little front design is carried all the way through the ribbing. So it is charted. I think it's written and charted. So it's easy to keep track of, but even once you get into your ribbing, you keep doing that little, just yarn overs, knit two together, slip knits, easy enough. Oh, so I'm working on that. I have, I think, an inch to do on the ribbing, and then I have to do sleeves. And I'm going to try not to be on Sleeve Island forever. But I'm on size small needles. I think they're 5s. No, they're 3s. Oh, it's 3s for the ribbing and then 5s for the body. But it's taken me some time. So those are what I'm working on. What is next on my to-do list, because I am going to California and I need an easy project to work on while I'm there. I just did this tonight. I wound up my skein of ridiculous, what does she call this base? Cloud 9. So I talked about this yarn last week. It's her alpaca silk cashmere. And you guys, I just put a huge order in for Bree. She's usually a 2 to 3 week dye time between when I put my order in and when she ships it out to me. So hopefully not too long, but I figured this would be a good time to do a little one skein project while I'm traveling. That's not going to be overly complex. So I am going to knit a pattern by Little Theorem called, I don't know if I would call it Stell, Steall, Stale. It's a Scottish waterfall. I don't speak with a Scottish accent very well, but it's designed for a gradient. So those gradients we talked about last week, if you weren't crazy about that triangular shawl with the drop stitches, this one, Bev, yes, it is fingering weight. So 437 yards in 100 grams skein. So I can't wait to play with this one, and I can't wait to get a bunch of colors in the shop. And oh, it's just going to be lovely. So this is written for 4-color gradient, but it's a simple enough repeat that I think it'll be great for this variegated. So it's sections of garter, just knitting back and forth. Every once in a while, a row of drop stitches. Why is it telling me that I froze? Melissa, can you still see me okay? Okay. All right. Maybe it's just my computer that's doing funky things. So I guess I just don't get to look at myself while I'm doing this, which is fine. So some drop stitches. It does have this little star stitch. Can you see that? I don't know, it's kind of cute. It says it's much easier than it looks. Rosemary, I'm not sure what the cost of that skein is going to be. I don't have it in stock yet. Once I have it in stock, I'll do a grand reveal and we'll have all the details. So I think this is going to be my travel project. It is done on big needles. It's on 7s. I'm hoping it's not going to be too loose that way. I may drop down to 6s because I have another scarf that was done on big needles and it gets to be a little bit too loose. So I may drop down to 6s, we'll see. But it calls for a total of 430 yards. So we'll see. And I looked through their project page on Ravelry, and they didn't show anybody that didn't use a gradient. I know it sounded like a double negative, but all the project photos used a gradient. Nobody used a variegated. So in my mind, it looks a certain way. So we'll see if it actually turns out the way I think it's going to. So that's going to be my next thing, my travel project. So what else? Oh, I promised you that we would talk about cocoa knits, didn't I? So I got a shipment in last week from Cocoa Knits. They have some really cool packaging, really cool storage, and very unique products. So I've had quite a few of these items in the store before, but it's been a while. And as we're getting close to the holidays, it's, these things can be added to your list. Malcolm, do I knit on the plane? Absolutely. Oh my gosh, I would get bored out of my mind if I didn't knit on the plane. We're leaving out of Detroit, so I'll knit on the drive down because my husband will drive down. I will knit once we get through security and we're sitting and waiting. He and I are both, we like to be early places. So my guess is we'll be through security well before boarding time. So I'll knit while I wait. It keeps me from snacking too much. Especially when I'm in a place like that, all the smells, all the sights. But heck yes, I'm gonna knit on the plane. I don't know how much knitting I'm actually gonna do when I get to California. I know I'm gonna have some car time, but if it's winding roads and me knitting don't quite go hand in hand so well, but we'll see. At least I'll have some airplane time. Are there restrictions on knitting needles? Not that I have heard. I have traveled plenty. Well, I've traveled a couple times in the last year and haven't had any problems with taking my needles. However, what I do tend to do, I'll use my shawlography as an example. So I pretty much exclusively use interchangeable needles. And Bev, I can only speak to domestic flights. I don't know about international flights. So interchangeable needles, right? Needles look like they could be a little bit of a weapon. I don't know. If I am afraid that something might happen, I will take the needle tip off. These will go in my purse and they look like pens and pencils. And when they go through security, they look like pens and pencils. I have, knock on wood, I have never had anybody question. I mean, I think they'll look through everything maybe a little bit more carefully, but it's knitting. And if they really want to fight me on it, I'll poke them. I hope I don't have an issue. Oh, there we go. Melissa from the TSA website, knitting needles, carry-on bags, yes. Checked bags, yes. Oh, Bonnie said she knit all the way to New Zealand and back. Awesome. Bamboo is a no-go. Huh. I wonder why that would be, Ashley. That's interesting. But yeah, I feel like I have to knit on the plane. Okay, so back to Cocoa Knits. One of the items that we've gotten before that tends to go pretty quickly when we get them is their flight of stitch markers. Look at this cool little case. It's magnetic, opens up, has 5 different little containers of stitch markers. Each one of these tubes has different types. They're all metal stitch markers. They call it a tasting. So it says, why try one when you could have them all? The flight contains 120 nylon coated steel markers in 5 different styles, 4 each of 6 colors. So you can see on here, there's a split one, triangle, small, medium, and large, one jumbo. But I'll show you, I like the split ring ones because they look really cool. So they come in these little containers. It's got a picture on there, tells you the colored split ring markers. You do have to be careful because I've had a tendency to pop these open and have them go flying everywhere. But look at how, pop that out of the way. Look at how fun and cute they are. All the different colors. Here, markers like this are great for if you need to mark the right side or the wrong side of your work, if you're marking a specific stitch. I just was reading a pattern the other day. Oh, it was Becca's pattern from Threadbender. I can't remember the name of it. It was the one that she did for the Yarn Quest. It mentions on there, she mentions on there about putting a stitch marker on an actual stitch instead of on your needles. So these little locking or these little split ring markers are fun for that. And then I'll show you the difference between the small and the large. Melissa, yes, they are the coated metal. Oh, if only I could get them out of the container, that would be great. So they're not going to fall out. That's good. Melissa was just in Cancun and didn't have a problem. Okay, so the difference between the small, medium, and large. So how much are they? The flight of stitch markers for 120 stitch markers is $24.99. I do have quite a few of them in stock, but they will go fast, especially as we get closer to the holidays, like I said. Although I've had quite a few customers coming in and deciding that they're going to treat themselves to something new instead of waiting for somebody else. So there's, let's see if I can do this in a way where they don't fall all over the place. The small, the medium, and the large jumbo stitch markers. The jumbo are jumbo. I don't know if it says how big they go up to. Up to a size 19 needle you can use on the jumbo, and that's hard to find. When I've done bigger projects, I have had to just tie a piece of yarn and use it as a stitch marker because I can't find markers that are big like that. The other thing that's nice about these is even though it's large in diameter, it's not really bulky. So a lot of times when you get the bigger ones, they tend to be a big piece of plastic or a big piece of metal and they're bulky. And sometimes when you're slipping your stitches, the place where you have a stitch marker can get a little bit more of a gap, almost like a ladder because of the bulk of your stitch marker. So I really like how nice and thin cocoa knit stitch markers are. So I have the flight of stitch markers back in stock. Make sure I put these in the right containers here. Then I also got, if you're not a big fan of all the different sizes, or if you look at it and think, well, I don't need the really tiny markers. I don't need the jumbo markers, but I like the medium size one. I have a little container of 60 stitch markers, same thing, 6 different colors. I think there are actually more colors in here because I don't think the bright pink is in the other one, but look at how cute that is. 60 little metal stitch markers. They go up to size 13. So they're still very versatile. And they come in these beautiful little cardboard containers. So the solid markers are $9.99 a set. Again, with a lot of this stuff, I do have it in stock. So let me know in the comments if there's something you want me to pull and set aside for you. Happy to do so. And then I also have the single container of the split ring markers. Look at that. It's so many markers. There's not not such a thing as too many. And look at, they're almost, they are all different colors. So similar, like there's a blue, there's an orange, there's a yellow, there's a green, but they're different. So even if you had them all in one container, you could differentiate between the bright ones being the round markers and the more pastel being the split ring markers. Split ring markers are also $9.99. Come in these cute little containers. I still have a few of their needle gauges left. So they come in these cute little boxes. This was something they came out with, I think 2 years ago. This is a needle gauge. Look at how compact this little thing is. It doesn't look like much of anything, but as you rotate these little guys, each of these is a little needle gauge. The size is written on them. It's got the US size and the millimeters on there. The one little thing I've heard from people is that the numbers on there are hard to read, but I have had people go through and just, I don't remember how they got some sort of black in there to be able to see the numbers a little bit easier. And then it's got kind of a magnet that holds everything in place. So it just kind of clips back into place, but it goes all the way from sizes 0 or 2 millimeter up to a size 15 or a 10 millimeter. Just a really neat little thing. So I have a few of these left. They're $15.50. Biodegradable, made from 100% plant fiber. So it does say in there, do not get it wet. Don't put it in your mouth. Don't let your kids put it in their mouths, or the dog or the cat. Don't drop it in your coffee. So that's their needle gauge. They came out with a whole array of tape measures that look like stone. So a lot of the things in the shop are blue, teal, turquoise. I kind of like those colors. Plus they're in my logo. So I only ordered this color. It's, well, I don't know. It's kind of a very light greenish seafoam, but it's a tape measure. There's no button on it. So it's just a retractable, which is nice in terms of not getting snagged on anything. It's very, very nice quality. So I got a few of these. Ashley, does it have half sizes or whole numbers? Let me see. Kathy, I wish there was a gauge for crochet hooks. Wooden ones have faded with the size. I do have some larger plastic gauges that are like, I have a big Chow Goo one that has knitting needle size on one side and crochet hook size on the other side. So they do exist. Let me see, Ashley. 0, 1, 2, 3. It does not. That was a very good question. So it doesn't have a 1.5 or a 2.5 in there. Nope, just straight up sizes. So the little tape measures are $15.99. And they come in these cute little muslin. What do you call it? Muslin? I don't know, potato sack kind of material bags. Very cute. Then we're getting bigger and bigger with the things here. So they make these accessory rolls. Their packaging is just so cool. So these are part of their line that are made with craft paper. So any of you who are multi-craftual, it may have used the craft paper before. It kind of initially looks like cardboard, thin cardboard, and it feels like it would be very flimsy, but it washes and starts to feel like leather the more you use it. So this little accessory roll You could use it for your notions. You could use it for jewelry if you wanted to, but it comes like this. It does come with different, oh, I didn't bring it over here. Different elastic bands. So I have, the one that I've had for a while is this natural color. They were out of stock, so everything I got now is this gray, which is not bad. I like the gray a lot. But if you wanted a different color elastic around the outside, you could change your own. They come with those. But when you open it, it has these 4 little compartments. Look at how cute they are. They snap on and snap off. I took a couple of these off and threw them, actually just threw them in a load of laundry that I had going the other day. So these little triangles, then they pop open for storage. Many of you have seen Karen has a plastic roll that's kind of a version of this. But it holds a lot. It can hold a lot, but it's so compact. I think it's such a neat design. So the accessory rolls, it looks like I am down to 5 of the accessory rolls left, maybe 6. How much are they? $39.99. And again, so they, let's see, it says to wash, simply remove the elastic, machine wash on gentle and cool water, squeeze and crumple with a wild damp to encourage wrinkles in texture, reshape and allow to dry. Let's see, outer dimensions are, the length is 6.5 inches, and then the width is 2.5 inches squared. So those are very cool. Yeah, Melissa, I'm sorry, I'm glad you asked because I didn't even get that far as to say how much they are. So they're $39.99. Again, I mentioned last week that we do have the ability to put together a wish list for you or track a wish list. So if there are things you see that you would like family or significant other to purchase for you for Christmas or birthday or just because, let us know and we can add to your wish list at any time. Then the biggest item that I got in the shipment is their project portfolio. I've had a lot of people ask me about their magnetic boards. We have our own really cool magnetic boards, and also they were out of stock, but I like our magnetic boards that we have. So the project portfolio, I'll show you on the box because it's a little bit easier if they have descriptions. It's the same fabric, but it could hold up to 4 magazines or journals. It has 3 interior pockets that could hold an iPhone, iPad or a tablet, a phone, loose leaf papers, pen, pencil, machine washable, just the same. So they show the different little compartments on there. But here it is. It looks so unassuming, but it will fool you. Again, it comes with different colored elastics. So if you like your things color coordinated, like I'd probably switch it out to teal because, you know. So it's got these elastics in there where you can put a magazine. You can put, if you have like a pattern booklet, you can put that in there. And then these pouches. So there's a pouch here. There's a pouch here that you can tuck papers. And then there is a pouch here that you could put your iPad in, things like that. I couldn't figure out what's in there, but it's the elastic for the outside. So those. So these are $37.99. I think I got a dozen of these. Maybe I got 10. I have most of them left because I haven't really talked about them. They just came in last week. But again, something that the more you use it, the softer it gets, the more character it gets as you love it, as you use it. Hi, Aunt Jackie. Hi, Diane. A couple late joiners. Yes, I know. Holly said they don't look strong enough. They really, that was my hesitation initially, is that it on first glance, it just looks like it's a cardboard thing that wouldn't be very durable, but they are. So I may have to just have one of these for myself to play around with it, wash it, so I can show one off after it's been loved a little bit. Tammy, I know, Tammy said, I can't believe you can wash it in the machine. Yeah, the only thing they tell you to do is take the elastics off, which they're just tied in there. So that's easy enough to do. The other benefit of having multiple elastics, if you do either for some reason break one or it loses its elasticity, you have some backups. So that's what I got from Coco Knits. I did get two really cute stitch markers from Knitter's Pride. They're wood. Look at these little guys. Look at how cute they are. They're little sheeps. These ones do have a little button on them to retract, but they stay out nicely. Very flexible. Inches and centimeters, of course. These little guys are $13.99. And I have just a handful of them because I wasn't sure what they were going to look like or how sturdy, but they're sturdy and they are wood. You can see the wood grain in them. Look at how beautiful that is. Of course, everyone is different. And Knitter's Pride is doing their new packaging is plastic free. So they have these cute little cardboard pouches they come in. Up to 60-inch fiberglass tape. So just like everything else, let us know in the comments if you want one of these set aside for you, if you want to purchase one. I think that's all I have to show you guys. I did want to mention, I think a whole bunch of boxes are going to come while I'm gone. I might be able to get through some of them tonight and tomorrow. I have this box of Malabrigo yarn down here that you guys can't see that just came in. It wasn't in my shop this morning, and when I came this evening, it was there. So the yarn fairies brought it, must be. But I'm going to try and get the Malabrigo out on the wall. If you pre-ordered some, I should have it set aside for you. So be sure to check with Karen or Deb this week to see if your yarn is in. But there are going to be some beautiful things in there. It is some colors of Sock, a handful of colors of Rios, about a dozen colors of Caprino. So that is their Merino Cashmere DK that I did that 3-colored cowl in. I've got more of those colors, and I got a few other colors because, oh, it's lush. Bonnie, when do the hat and mitten kits come in? I have them in. They are in stock. I was holding yours with your sock yarn. If you want me to send it out sooner, I can do that. I think I just got everything that I need to send yours out because November was the last month, and I think I got that. I will double check though and have it on its way to you, or maybe I sent it already. I think my mind's already in vacation mode. I'll double check though and let you know. I feel like maybe I shipped it out to you already. It might have gone out today. We'll see. Diane, not a kitten kit, mittens, hat and mittens. A kitten kit would be fun though. You gotta love spell check. So if you're around, stop in this week, and Karen and Deb may or may not know what's new, because if I get so motivated, I will have everything just up on the wall and tucked away with everything else. I think that's it. I, again, will not be on next Monday. If you jumped on late to this, once the video is done, it will be posted permanently on the Little Yarn Shop's Facebook page. So you can always go back and rewatch it. I do monitor the comments after the fact. So if you rewatch it, there's something that you want, you can either message me through Facebook, text, or call the shop phone during business hours, 989-274-8571, or put it in the comments and I go back through and make sure we catch those too. Well, I hope you all have a great week, a great 2 weeks, since I won't see you next Monday, but I'll see you in 2 weeks. And stay warm, keep knitting. This is our time. This is our time to be bundled up and really putting to use all the lovely things that we've been making. Of course, we wear knits all the time, right? We have to. We don't have to. We love to. Lisa, thanks. Lisa said, have a great vacation. Thank you all so much for the well wishes. I think we're going to have a great time. It's going to be fun no matter what. All right. I will see you all in 2 weeks. Have a great week. Bye.